Where else to search for? All the samriddhi that we seek, isn't it from Mother Earth? Everything that we have, isn't it from Mother Earth? So I invoke her in the form of patience and forgiveness in my heart, who is always Ishwarigam sarvabhutanam tamihopahvaye shriyam. You are the one who is always blessing us to be prosperous. And it is because of your blessings that the entire universe and all the beings in this universe are constantly nourished and supported. May that form of yours, may that quality of yours be imbibed by me in my heart. Remove all the negativities. Help me remove all the negativities. Let me learn to have patience, forgiveness as Mother Earth. Gandhadvaram duradarsham nityapushtam karishinim Ishwarigam sarvabhutanam tamihopahvaye shriyam. Gandhadvaram duradarsham. Each one of these 5 elements has a specific quality. The quality of earth is gandha, smell. Sometimes it may not be raining right in the place that we are, but there is a cool breeze which carries a certain fragrance of the first rains. It has got an aroma to itself, amazing freshness to it. I was in Jaipur. I think it was during buying our Lakshmanji here or before that. There was this vendor, street vendor, who was selling perfumes, what they call attar. And one of the fragrances that he had, I don't know how they captured it, is the earthly fragrance when the first rains fall. It's enticing. And the most beautiful part is, we sow all seeds into Mother Earth. Each one comes out according to their quality with their uniqueness of fragrances. Of course, in this country, there is only akara pushti. They are looking really gorgeous. Very few which carry the smell in it. The roses, they're so beautiful and pretty. None of them carry any smell in it. The first time 10 years ago, it is still fresh in my head. Somebody gave me a banana. I thought, wow, such a big size. So I opened it and it felt like, It had no smell, taste. It may have all the potassium that they claim, but there is no smell and taste in it. Nissaravat. When it is a virgin land and you sow the seeds, such beauty that it brings about. Duradarsham. Duradarsham meaning that which is indestructible. The patience and forgiveness of Mother Earth is indestructible. What all we do here. If there is anybody who has, ecological outlook. They can use this as their uh, motto. Gandhadvaram duradarsham nitya pushtankarishiniim. Earth gives everything unto us, sustains us from morning to night, even afterwards. And what do we give back? Such destruction around. All the natural ecological system is disturbed by only one species who claims themselves to be the zenith of this creation. Probably if they knew the other languages of other creatures, probably they also are claiming the same. But remove the human beings from the equation of the ecological system. The ecological system does not shrink or get into an imbalance. It in fact thrives. We get good waters. We get the entire food, medicines, ores, precious stones, metals, various things that we have. And in today's world, all the fossil fuel, everything comes from her alone. As a mark of thanks, do we take care of Mother Earth? And a big fad these days is recycle. You hear a lot about it these days. Recycle this, recycle that. In fact, I would go to an extent say, before even you can talk of recycling, the age-old system of reusing, that should be brought in. If you really care for Mother Earth as Sree Devi, as Lakshmi Devi herself, for all her patience and forbearance, the least that we can offer back is not ruin the natural ecological system. I'll tell you a bad joke. Yeah, it is a disclaimer. Somebody had committed a heinous crime. In the court of law was decided that he be electrocuted. But the judge, before passing that judgment, he said, I'll give you a choice. So this fellow was thrilled. And looking at his thrill, he said, don't get thrilled. The choice that you have is AC or DC. You will be electrocuted. But is it AC or DC? That you can choose. Whichever. So whenever I go to the grocery stores and they ask me, paper or plastic, every time I hear that, I keep reminded of this joke. AC or DC. Any which way it is going to harm. Plastic don't get recycled. And the paper, so much of plant kingdom is to be cut to make that paper. Instead, age-old system. I have grown up with that system. Carry few bags, cloth bags, not these mesh recyclable bags. Cloth bag, a sturdy one. Get all the some stains on it, wash it, reuse it. There's so many things that if we can focus on one by one, there's so much that we can do to not harm the beautiful balance that Mother is offering. But in spite of all that, I'll give you an example. often used example. There is somebody that you go out of your way to go help. To give them something, you go out of your way to go help. But instead of being grateful of receiving it, they beat you, snatch it from you, and leave you there. Would you go back to help that kind of people again? Put yourself in those shoes. Would you go back to help such people? If yes, move your head like this. If no, then move your head like this. Definitely not. Okay. Have you ever plucked mangoes? Or any fruit from that? What kind of techniques that we use? Throw stones, throw sticks, hit it with, break few branches. For whom is those mangoes? Are those mangoes for the tree itself? No. In fact, the tree does not hide anything for itself. It is for us. And that which it is providing in abundance. And the animosity that we show, the next time we go, does the tree say, "Hey Durt, Dusht, last time you did this, get lost"? No. With the same abundance, it gives back again. Similarly, everything in this nature. That is the amount of forbearance, forgiveness, and patience that Mother Earth is showing. Oh Mother, let me invoke you into my heart with those qualities. Let me imbibe these qualities of patience, forgiveness, and forbearance. Let me have patience with the world. Let me have patience with the world around me. If you truly understand what is being said today, you would not end up asking the frequently asked favorite question: how long should I have patience? If you truly have patience, how long doesn't matter. That kind of patience, oh Mother, let me imbibe in my heart. Whatever the world does unto me, how is my behavior unto the world? With patience. And when the world reacts unto me, how should be my behavior? How should be my mental attitude, mindset? Let me have forbearance and forgiveness. Let me not get into the rut of tit for tat. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Which is what we are taught many times inadvertently. Stand up for yourself. If somebody pushes you, go push them also. Instead, the virtue to be learnt, Duradarsham Gandhadvaram. O Mother, may I invoke you as the forbearance, patience, and forgiveness of Mother Earth. In spite of what we do unto you, Nitya Pushtam Karishinim. You are Nitya Pushta Devi. Pushti Devi. Pushti Devi, the one who is constantly concerned about nourishing everybody around. here there is a beautiful coincidence that Sree Devi and Parvati ji are both worshipped as Pushtivardhini Devi. Most of us know the mantra. Trambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhinim. I think back in India there is only one temple that I have seen where Parvati ji is worshipped as Pushtivardhini Devi. It is in one of the Jyotirlingas called Jageshwar. Not the one in Gujarat, near Dwarka. This is in further north, Nainital, Almora. You cross that, 100 kilometers from Nainital, I think. A beautiful sacred place. And there, the mother is worshipped in the form of Pushtivardhini, whose only concern is to nourish the child or the entire creatures, entire beings, in the most appropriate manner. Pushtivardhinim. Nitya pushtam karishinim. The one who constantly is focused on giving nourishment, karishinim. The one who does that. There is another meaning of karisha. Karisha also means cow dung. Only Hindus can call, true practicing Hindus can call holy cow. Because every form of or every aspect of that cow is considered as sattvic and the most sacred. And it is with this, in the traditional houses back in villages, that the cow dung is dried and is used in probably for cooking food. But the most sacred part of it is the cow dung is used, the dried cow dung. How do you call it? Cow dung cake? The dried cow dung is used in the ahutis, the yagna karma. It is considered as very sacred. So here he is talking about, like the cow which is nitya pushtam. Here nitya pushtam, one meaning that I gave you was the aspect of mother who is constantly concerned about nourishing. The other meaning is of the cow, wherein even its cow dung is that sacred. Go Panchaka is also that sacred. Do you know what is Go Panchaka mean? The fifth element of the cow, which is the urine of the cow. Even that is used as medicine. Let alone about all the other great features. Wherever mother in the form of a Lakshmi Devi, in the form of cow is worshipped, there nitya pushtam, you will have prosperity like unprecedented, with perfect balance in that society. That is why there are many who are up against getting a law passed about not killing the cows. And here we are in the society wherein every strip mall has one steakhouse. This is very sad. So wherever there is cow which represents prosperity and sattvikata, every aspect of that cow, including the karisha. Karisha, it is the cow dung, which is supposed to be both Pashu Samriddhi, representing Pashu Samriddhi and Sasya Samriddhi. No better manure than cow dung to get the best out of the earth. So every aspect of your expression, O Mother, is constantly to nourish us. May I get that kind of fortitude, may I get that kind of patience, may I get that kind of forgiveness towards everything around. Nitya Pushtam Karishinim Ishwarigam Sarvabhutanam Tamiho Pahvaye Shriyam. Ishwarigam Sarvabhutanam. In Mahanarayanopanishad, Lord Narayana is called the Ishvara. Ishwarigam. Ishwarigam, you are the very Shakti of Narayana. So once Gurudev, I think it was in a Yagna in Tirupati, I think. We were there and he gave a very beautiful example. He said, which man would like somebody chasing his wife? This is how he started. Instead of chasing Lakshmi, catch hold of Narayana. Why? Wherever there is Narayana, isn't Lakshmi already there? Because she is his very Shakti. Ishwarigam Sarva Bhutanam. And where is she? Wherever that Narayana is expressing as the conscious principle, she is adjoining that Narayana in the form of various Shaktis and potentialities in that individual creature and being. Meaning, in each one of us. Let us start from the basics. Are we alive? Thank you. Or else this would be a zombie movie. We are all alive. Do we have different potentialities, different skills? These potentialities and skills, when revealed, is the expression of Lakshmi ji Sakshat in our lives. Imagine, she expresses in as many people, as many creatures, that many unique forms of skills. Ishwarigam Sarva Bhutanam Tam Ihopahvaye Shriyam. May I tap that Shriyam, that wealth which I am born with. May I tap that which is enlivening me. All these Shaktis that I have, let me find the perfection in expressing these skills. See, which ties down to our Vedantic thought. What is the purpose of human life? We are born. By default, we start growing. Sometimes vertically, after a certain age, horizontally, physically. I mean. Emotionally also we grow. Growth happens by default. But what is it that I am born for? If you pull yourself as an entity from the equation of what is happening around you in your life, just pull yourself for a few minutes and watch what is happening. The same rut repeated day in and day out. Does it ever feel, is this what I am born to be doing every day? Is this the meaning of my life? So the Vedantic scriptures have come up with the crux of the very question, purpose of life. There are two purposes. Actually, it is only one, but for our better understanding, they split it into two. One is called Vyavaharik, the other one is called Paramarthik. If we are not able to handle the Vyavaharik, Paramarthik remains to be as illusory as it is right now. Let me make it clear. If in Vyavahara, we have been born to a certain situation, certain environment, which defines our responsibilities, duties and obligations. And these are catering directly to our inner tendencies, inner vasanas. How do we cater to them? By identifying these different skills, shaktis that we have, and catering to our responsibilities, duties and obligations, so that the existing layers of these vasanas which constantly keep us restless are washed one by one. When effectively the Vyavahara is taken care of, then we get closer to the Paramarthik purpose. And what is the Paramarthik purpose? To reach to the core of our own being. Having reached where? Happiness, contentment, satisfaction and peace is guaranteed. Such one who has gained that happiness, contentment, satisfaction and peace, wherever they go in their interactions, what can they give? Maximum happiness to the maximum people for maximum time. So if you go back to our website, check the motto of Chinmaya Mission. What is the motto of Chinmaya Mission? To give maximum happiness to the maximum people for the maximum time. I usually add another iteration to it. Shortest possible time. Guaranteed. But provided we understand that it is the Ishvara who is enlivening, and he comes along with his Ishvari, the Shaktis, in and through every being. Understand its Vyavaharik Satta, understand its Paramarthik Satta, and apply it on both ends. Such individual will seldom feel mechanical, bored or burnt. Once you have identified it, what is the sign that I have identified my true skills of Vyavaharik Satta and Paramarthik Satta? That whatever you are interacting with, there is no boredom. Being a wife, we are bored. Being a husband, we are bored. Being a boss, we are bored. Being a subordinate, we are bored. Being a parent, we are bored. Being a child, we are bored. And these days, children, they use boredom with such a frequented word. Give them anything new, 5 minutes. I'm bored. Kaat ke khao. Give them anything to entertain, anything to read, anything to sustain. You can't sustain, bored. They are just amplified expression of our generation. And you get over your boredom and get into it, I feel so mechanical, no meaning in it. Okay, whatever slight little meaning that you find and start chasing it. After a good chase, I feel burnt out. I need a break. I need a vacation. किया क्या? As if the whole world is being carried, you feel burnt out. Swami, you cannot trivialize our lives like that. No, I'm not trivializing it. All these things happen because we are not identifying what is important. Oh Mother, bless me with that intellect, tikshna buddhi, so that I can recognize it, channelize it, and purposefully lead my life. Ishvarigam sarvabhutanam tamihopahvaye shriyam. See, the earlier mantra, there was a sincere request to remove all the presence of Jeshta Lakshmi. In this mantra, the seeker is sincerely praying to Mother that give me these positive qualities of the earth or the cow, of being sattvic, pure, forbearance, forgiveness, patience, so that in that stable environment I can identify the very purpose of my life. How I execute my various skills, nurturing them and channelizing them in my interaction, and how I can reach to that stable platform, the core of my own being. In this mantra, Mahavishnu is supposed to be the Rishi, mantra dashtaraha, and this mantra is in Anushtup Chandasa. Continuing his prayers, in the 10th mantra, the Rishi says, repeat after me, Manasah kamamakutim Vachas satyamashi Pashunam Rupamannasya Mayeshrihi Shrayatam Yashaha Manasah kamamakutim vachas satyamashi Pashunam rupamannasya mayeshri shrayatam yashaha. Manasaha kamam akutim vachaha satyam ashimahi. O Mother, may my desires be fulfilled. Kamam. Here in the commentary, he very beautifully says, Sayanacharya puts it, that kind of desire which is considered as righteous. Otherwise, you look at some of the old movies. I used to wonder how difficult it must have been for that Devi to be impartial. There is a daku, a dacoit. He goes to a Kali Mandir and puts on a big tilak. Today I am going for my loot. Mother, bless me. In the nearby city, there is a police. His wife or mother also has done a worship of Mother, and puts a tilak. They say, Mother will protect you. The poor mother, should she protect him or her? I mean, this police or that fellow? See, when we come unto the doorsteps of divinity and seek their blessings, invoke their blessings, to do all the unrighteousness. And that is where people start commenting that, I know of this person, he or she spends like hours at end doing their puja. If that puja does not reflect in day-to-day action in righteousness, what good is that puja? They are not too different. If my sense of worshipfulness does not transcend the four walls of a temple, it was not a worship in the first place at all. It has to transcend those four walls to reach out to the entire humanity in that worshipful attitude. Manasaha kamam akutim vachaha satyam ashimahi. May truth be established in my speech. See, what are the positive qualities that he is asking list by list? What are the commandments by the scripture that we have to lead a great life? These are the very commandments. In the earlier mantra, patience, forgiveness, forbearance, purity, sattvic nature, and to identify all the skills and potential and nourish them. In this mantra, may my desires be righteous. May my speech be truthful, always. Pashunam rupamannasya maye Sree shrayatam yashaha. May I be granted. Pashunam. Here I'll give you the simple meaning, but when we go into the deeper meaning, we will see the deeper meaning. May I be granted Pashu Samriddhi. In today's world, every successful businessman talks about stocks. Right? In those days also they talked about stocks. It was not these paper stocks, they were livestock, which is represented by Pashu Samriddhi. Anna Samriddhi. Anna Samriddhi, abundance of food. Why do I need abundance of food and Pashu Samriddhi? If I have more, I can reach out and serve that many more. But it is a very strange coincidence. Those who have don't want to part with it. Those who don't have a wish list. Wish I had that much more, I could have given. And then there is always running this kind of volunteer institution. When there is somebody as a big donor, there is always this debate that goes on. You will say, why should you have a special treatment for donor? We may not be able to give that much, but you don't treat us the same. You have, and the very thought to contribute that which I have for the betterment of all that I care for around me, the ability to part with it is a noble gesture. So what is he asking here, the seeker? May I serve everybody, but in order to serve, I need to be worthy enough of that service. Let me have all these in abundance so that I can serve the society, the community at large, the entire humanity. Those who have alone can give. So presently, have I told you this weird logic of mine? I have claimed it weird, okay? So there is this, again, famous frequently asked question. Why is it that, in these days, we have so many atrocities, so much of calamity, so much of ill will and all these bad things happening? When we hear about, great times like, Lord Rama's times or great emperors, that they had such a great time. So I tried answering it in different ways. But one fortunate moment, I had a spark of revelation. And I ended up answering thus. Were you there at that time of the Ramarajya? I don't know. Are you now in this kind of environment? So yes. So the only difference that I see from that Rajya to this Rajya is your presence. Why is the world like this? Because of you. And jokes apart, in seriousness, that is the answer. Each one of us is an indivisible part of this society, and if each one of us do not learn to get to that positive note, do you think the entire society will suddenly change by few amendments in the law or in the constitution? That goodness has to be inculcated in each one of us. And in order to do good, oh Mother, let me have in plenty so that I can serve. Manasah kamamakutim vachas satyamashīmahi pashunam rupamannasya mayeshri shrayatam yashaha. May your yasha in the form of this Pashu Samriddhi and Anna Samriddhi bless me always. Remember, let me remind you, these were the days wherein people did not charge for stay and food. One of the definitions in Kali Yuga, what is Kali Yuga? In the very first chapters of Bhagavatam, it defines that yuga wherein food, shelter and water will be sold is Kali Yuga. In the earlier days, when they said Athithi Devo Bhava, they took it pretty seriously. That every village or every town had a decent dwelling place wherein people could rest, which had nice place to bathe, and they were fed without any fee. The service was free. And today's world, they call it service, but they have a service fee. Service is not supposed to be with a fee. So one agitated parent very recently said, Chinmay Mission, you collect for $350 or $400 for 1 year for Balavihar. It is outrageous. How can you collect so much of fee? I said, Baba, this is not a fee. There are 200 plus teachers and 150 plus volunteers that are working. If I take the man hours and equate the man hours for a fee, you cannot afford it. What we are doing is just to maintain this facility so that the rest of the services are free. What you are doing is donating. But in this Kali Yuga, even to donate, you have to be charmed to donate. Fundraisers, you have to be charmed to donate. You have to be twisted to donate. In Taittiriya Upanishad it is said, Shriya Deyam, Khriya Deyam. Give when you have in plenty, give. But when you are giving, give it with Shraddha. Shraddhaya Deyam. What if I don't have Shraddha? So the next part of the mantra, I said, Ashraddhaya api Deyam. It can be taken or interpreted as Ashraddhaya Adeyam. Don't give without Shraddha. But it can always be Sandhi Vichhed can be done. Ashraddhaya Deyam. Even if you don't have Shraddha, give. Because you have in plenty. The yasha of mother and her blessings, which is in abundance, has to be shared. Now, Manasaha kamam, meaning there are various kinds of desires. We have 4 purusharthas. What are the 4 purusharthas? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Most of us are working for acquiring more of artha and fulfilling of more of kama. But when will those kama and artha find its meaning? When they are within the boundaries of dharma and moksha. That which you earn has to be righteous. In fact, Bhagavan Krishna also in, I think, 7th chapter, he says it very beautifully. He says, my avatara in your life, in your heart, Kamosmi Bharatarshava. Hey Arjuna, I take avatara in your heart in the form of a desire. Eyes pop up. Areva. So now I have sanction from Bhagavad Gita that all desires are nothing but Krishna's avatara. But then he qualifies that desire. What kind of desire? Dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshabha. That which is not against your dharma and fulfilling that dharma, such kama I am in your heart. Now, we have to understand what is dharma here. What is dharma? There are couple of standpoints. And depending on the standpoint, the dharma changes. When you are in front of your spouse, your dharma is different. When you are with your children, your dharma as a parent, dharma changes. So it is situational. From the absolute standpoint, it is not situational. There is only one dharma. And that is called your swadharma. And what is that swadharma? Swadharma is the Satchidananda Swarupa, the absolute conscious state of being. All the desires that we entertain should help us lead towards that Swadharma. So supposing you are having a road trip from here to, say, Yosemite. Where is Yosemite? It just popped, I said. California, okay. So you have to take west from here. As you are driving, every point of reference that you touch through, shouldn't it be geared towards reaching that spot? You have one list, from here you reach to this place, next you have to go to this place, and then suddenly you see a totally tangential place there. I mean, not in your list, in your route. Aren't you alarmed? Wait a second. I think we messed up in the last exit. Instead of taking the U-turn, we took the roundabout turn and we are going in a wrong direction. As soon as you realize, what do? Don't you turn back and get back on track? Similarly, all the fulfillment of our vyavaharik kama should enable us, entitle us to reach slowly and steadily towards that core of our own being, which is our Swadharma. Presently, it is an impossible task. Because it is haywire. So the next definition of Swadharma is that which I have now identified myself to be and I am existing as is creating the identity crisis or confusion. Hence, therefore, all the karma that has to be entertained is in purifying from disidentifying from all these things. That becomes my Swadharma. What have I identified myself to be? Body, mind, intellect. These are the equipments to be used, but I have identified it with it so deep that I have forgotten what my Swadharma is. So re-nourish, re-educate what the path of Swadharma is, disidentify and reach to that core within. All those desires which help you reach. May such righteous desires, manasaha, kamam, akutim. Akuti is the daughter of Manu and Shatarupa. This comes in Bhagavad Purana. Pritushena was her husband. What does Akuti mean? Ku means to be determined. Akuti means to be comprehensively determined to reach that goal and not stop until then. And what is that goal? To reach to that state of peace and happiness which is within and not without. So what is the prayer here? O Mother, let me be blessed enough to entertain all those desires which are righteous, and let you bless me to have the determination to accomplish each one of these steps so that I can reach to that abode where you reside. Manasah kamamakutim vachas satyamashīmahi May my vak. See, in the olden days, all the rishis, they used to carry, instead of an water bottle, a kamandal. It had water in it. So they would take water and then immediately turn into a stone. Turn into a stone. Don't try it. If there is a stone nearby, they'll throw at you. Once, this is almost 15, 16 years ago, we were traveling through, the Bihar Itarsi region. We were with a group of people, and there were the people who had just occupied our seats, our train seats. We tried explaining, we tried, arguing, we tried everything. Nothing worked. In fact, their claim was that the train route goes through their village, so it is the government's responsibility to provide them a free ride. उसके लिए क्या बोलेंगे अब? We had many elderly people and they had blocked almost like 6 seats. So we were five or six acharyas. Suddenly, I took a water bottle, poured the water, and chanted some mantra. ईशान सर्व विद्यानाम ईश्वर सर्व भूतानाम ब्रह्माधिपति ब्रह्मणोधिपति. क्या 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 कर रहे हो? सोच क्या कर रहे हो? उठते हो या शाप दूं? Immediately whole compartment was cleaned. At least with the threat of sharp, we got something worked. But in the olden days, if there was a Mahatma and they said something, it would happen. That is called Vak Siddhi. In order to have that Vak Siddhi, we need to have Vak Shuddhi. Vak Shuddhi here means integrity. Integrity of all 3 karanas. And that is also known as Trikarana Shuddhi. As you think, as you say, so shall you do. And what is it that has to be entertained as a thought, as a desire? That which is righteous. How should your speech be? Truthful alone. May my speech be nourished with truthfulness alone. May I always lead a life of truthfulness alone. Satya Vak Diksha. To speak truth and the whole truth, nothing but the truth alone. It took me a while to understand that statement. Administrating, these huge organizations, I used to get, people, they would always have 2-3 different standpoints, and there is a standoff, and each one would come and tell. Each one would tell truth, but their perspective of truth avoiding or not revealing the complete truth. First few years as a brahmachari, I used to be very aggressive, jump onto it. I realized no worth, no point jumping in. So, okay, you have given me your standpoint, go stand. But I need one. Wait. Now I'll go talk to the next. Get their perspective. Whatever parties are involved. And then finally when you put 2 plus 2 together, it is totally different picture. Why? Each one spoke truth, but partial truth. What is Satyavak Diksha? Speak the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, but speak it in a very pleasing manner. Many people get to the point of speaking the truth, but they are very curt, rude, very caustic. And they say, whatever I think here, I just say it out. I don't retain anything in my heart. Please put a filter for your own good. Filtering not the truth, but the causticness of your expression. You don't need to be rude saying the truth. May my speech be enriched with truth as Diksha. May I never speak or entertain that which is a lie. Vachas satyamashīmahi Pashunam rūpamannasya mayeshri shrayatam yashaha. One simple meaning is, may I be endowed with Pashudhana, Pashu Samriddhi and Anna Samriddhi. So that I will be able to feed, I will be able to support as many as possible. The second meaning is, Lord is also known as Pashupati. And what is a Pashu? Pashyati iti Pashu. The one who has no restraints, whatever it sees, whatever it smells, whatever it hears, it constantly gets engaged in those things. Such one is a Pashu. Meaning, the one who does not have any control over its organs of perception action is called Pashu. Sometimes the Pashu, the so-called animals, have been so well trained that they have a better control than the one who owns them. Way back I had this beautiful entrance cartoon. So usually there is that, beware of dog or dogs. But this house had a different thing on the front gate. Beware not just of the dog, but of its owner too. And the picture there was, the dog was sleeping and the owner was shown like, angry, agitated, shouting. So I enter the house. So I turn around to lock the gate. I turn and I'm like 6 foot. They're like to my chest. Huge 3 dogs. Huge. What do you call them? Alsatians? Very ferocious looking, sharp teeth. Then I was still Uddhav Chaitanya. Uddhav, tera aaj ho gaya. That is the only day when I regretted wearing a lungi. Never ever. So I wish I had shorts or pant. Quickly I would have tried at least to jump over this gate. But I was now LBW, lungi before the wicket. As it's a ferocious, they're like the Kali, such huge tongue and stricken, shocked. So from the balcony, the owner just whistled, and these three dogs went into the front porch. So I went there. And by that time, the owner had come down. And he ordered the dogs, sit! And then he came to greet me. And as he was greeting me, we were talking. So he threw 3 pieces of biscuit in front. Usually when you throw such things in front of a dog, what do you expect? Jump at it and finish it. So he is still talking to me. And after the initial whatever conversation was done, and he asked me to follow him inside. And as we were stepping inside, he turned to those dogs and said, eat! Then the dogs bent down to quickly snatch their snack. I said, oh, wow. पशु को तो कंट्रोल कर लिया, but the inner pashu, pashu nam rupam, may I have absolute control over my pashutva. May I have control over the anna. Anna does not just mean food. What you are hearing is actually called, otherwise known as food for thought. Food for the eyes are good shapes. Food for the ears are good sounds. Food for the nose is good smell. Food for the tongue is good tasty food. Food for the skin, comfortable, touch. So these are all different foods. May my indulgence into the world be transformed to interactions. What is the difference between interaction and indulgence? Indulgence comes along with a craving for the presence of it or the absence of it. Interactions is just purely on the utility purpose. You finish it and you move forward. May I have that kind of control. That is when, that kind of control when nourished, is when the sadhaka is actually ready for the true Sree dhana to glow all the way from the Mooladhara to the Sahasrara. That is the yasha of this entire system. On one side, there is the peripheral meaning talking about may I be blessed with livestock as well as great abundance in food so that I can serve. That meaning stands. But as an inner meaning, may I control this pashu inside with its interactions with the world outside so that I can grow and create the environment for that Kundalini to raise, for that divine grace to be finally tapped in. Grace is always there, as I have been mentioning. Do we have it in us to tap it in the right sense? Pashunam rupamannasya mayeshri shrayatam yashaha. In this particular mantra, Vak Siddhi is the main uh, phala of this particular mantra. And the Kamadeva is the mantra drashtaraha or the rishi. And this particular mantra is given to us in the Anushtup Chandas. The next mantra, having thus now prepared, so he says, Kardamena Praja Bhuta Mayi Sambhava Kardama Shriyam Vasaya Me Kule Mataram Padmamalinim. Sri Lakshmi has three Manasa Putras: Ananda, Kardama and Chiklita. We will see the mention of all three of them. So, O mother of Kardama is one address. The second address is, O Kardama yourself, may you reside in my heart. See, wherever the child is the mother's attention not there? You may have the child in the crib or in the living room. You may be busy cooking or doing other stuff. Even if there is a slightest sound or something, wouldn't you run back to check? And mothers also become smart. When the child is not making sound, you become more skeptical. I read this beautiful wisdom. When children and mosquitoes have stopped making sound, they are definitely up to something. So immediately you run and say, where are these fellows? Why are they not making sound? And then you stand there. However busy you are, your one side antenna is fixed onto them. That is what a mother and a child, that is the relation. So once you invite her favorite child, and all three children are invited in one after the other mantra, where would the mother's attention be? I'm just giving you the peripheral meaning today. Kardamena Prajabhuta, that by whose presence you have now been called the mother, the first child, Kardama. May that first child be in my heart. Shriyam Vasaya Me Kule Mataram Padmamalinim. May this Sree Devi live in my entire Kula. Earlier it was Griha. Then it was the Parivara, Kutumba. Now he is talking the entire lineage. Not just this set of human beings or humanity, the entire humanity hereforth. May they all be blessed by you, O Mother Padma Malinim, who adorns the Padma Mala. So the superficial meaning is one aspect of it. The deeper meaning is much more revealing and revealing. There is amazing secrets revealed in this particular mantra. So that we will see tomorrow. Was it a cliffhanger? Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।